Hello adventurers, I'm Gray and welcome back to some more Dicey Dungeons. Last time we played as the Inventor and it was a good time. I enjoyed the Inventor actually. I used to not enjoy the Inventor as much, but I feel like the last couple of games I played for, the episodes, have been pretty fun and I've done quite well in them, so yeah, let's see. They've been innovative, you could say. Next, we once again have to play as the Witch. The Witch I have mixed thoughts on because first episode, it didn't really go that well for me. Second one, though, really fun. I really enjoyed the second one. So I have no idea how this one's gonna do. It's called Countdown, so I can kind of suspect how it goes. Well, I don't know, let's just read it. Let's read it. See what it says. Countdown. It's like magic. Your first dice is always a 6. Your next, a 5. Then a 4. Then 3. Look, you're a witch. I'm sure you can handle it. Okay, so I start with a bump blade, which means I can always use that at the very least with whatever dice I get. So the bump blade will do less damage each turn because I'll be putting a lower number of dice into it. But at the same time, I need to basically balance my hand so that the dice I get can actually be used effectively with what I've got. So that'll be an interesting thing to do. I'm actually not sure how well this is going to go. Could go very poorly, but the only way to find out is by trying it out. Let's give a big hand for our wily witch. She's playing to win fame and fortune. No, wait, sorry. No fortune, just the fame. Great choice. Thank you very much, Lady Luck. Before we progress, though, I do want to read a couple comments. So there's actually not too much for me to read, but I was told that when I go into combat with an enemy and then deal damage and run away, my damage does not carry over, and that also carries over to status effects and anything I do to them. It won't carry over if I run, so there's really no point in trying to deal damage to them before running, unless I think I can beat them. And in which case I can try that, but if I fail, I can always run away. So that's something to keep in mind. I guess that makes sense, otherwise you could whittle them down a bit, get a heal, and then whittle them down more. And it wouldn't exactly be fair to them, not like I care. I was also told, let's see, that there was originally an achievement for beating a boss without getting hit in one turn. Or at least maybe just beating boss in one turn. Apparently it was removed, from what I've heard. Could be wrong. But those were really the only comments I had relevant to the game. So let's go ahead and fight Magician. There's another comment that I want to address, but I'll do it throughout this video. Ooh, max 5 on the bump blade. But I can summon another bump blade, so let's do that real quick. And so I can do this. Oh, I got a 4 here. 4 can't do too much. Now I got a 5, and I can spawn an Infliction and just do an extra 3 damage. This is a weird build, actually. I wonder how it's gonna go. Whew. So as you probably heard in actually, I'm not sure what order I'm uploading my videos. It's a bit wacky right now. I have all sorts of things planned that I want to do. So just in case, in the Outer Wilds videos, I was talking about how it's summer for me now. And yeah, for me, it's basically, at this point, summer. And I know it's like, you might think, hasn't it been summer break for me for a little while? Kind of. I finished my finals last week, as I've talked about many times in videos. And I know it's not technically summer in terms of dates, but summer break is what I mean. Because I'm in school right now. I'm in pharmacy school, for those who don't know. Ooh, where do I put this? 1? I'll put it... Is that a good idea to put it on 1? I don't even know what would be best to put on. It has a min of 2. So I think I can put it on 1 because I'm not going to be putting 1s into Nudge anyway. So I think that's worth putting it there. But I finished my finals last week. However, the immediate next week I have my first set of rotations. And rotations are basically... Oh, let's put this 5 in here. Oop. Rotations are basically getting hands-on experience at an actual practice site and interacting with patients, and since it's pharmacy, doing drug information questions and learning about drugs and things like that. It's pretty interesting, actually. I enjoyed this last rotation, so interestingly. So my first rotation I had, and that I've ever had, and the first pharmacy experience I've really ever had was this rotation as well, over this past week, was in something called AmCare. That's short for ambulatory care. And I'll probably spend a lot of this video talking about it, but What it basically is, as I found out, is not what you might think it is from hearing the name. Because many people hear AmCare and they think, is that like working in an ambulance and treating patients like paramedics and that sort of thing? But it is actually not at all like that. And I think the name's a bit misleading, actually. I don't know. I probably could look it up. I probably should have, but I don't really know why it's called ambulatory care, because you're not working in an ambulance at all. What it is working at a clinic. So something like a primary care clinic, or perhaps, yeah, mostly primary care clinics, and anywhere that has like physicians and other practitioners working there. Because the pharmacist, the role of the pharmacist is to work together with the nurses, with the physicians, with the physician assistants, with anyone else within the site, in order to perform comprehensive care of patients, basically. So they work under what's called a collaborative practice agreement, which is a way that pharmacists, I'm trying to explain this in like really simple terms. Something that allows pharmacists to work together to perform more tasks than they would alone. But it lets them do other things that they couldn't otherwise do while working together with other practitioners, basically to treat the patients. So rather than working in a pharmacist, these type of pharmacists, or rather than working at a pharmacy, these types of pharmacists work at a clinic, like a doctor's office that you might think of. And because of that, like, they're not just dispensing drugs, and they're not just like counseling patients on new medications and stuff like that. While they still do that whenever patients need it, they'll also just perform checkups on patients, make sure they have no problems, go over their med list and make sure there's no issues, no interactions, no side effects that they're having at the moment, nothing that they're being over or underdosed on, nothing that they're on that they shouldn't be on, all that sort of stuff, asking the patient questions, what's bothering them right now, what's like their main concerns at the moment. It's pretty neat. Like, it's a unique area of pharmacy that I had never seen before. And it seems to me to be a bit more laid back than community, like an actual Walgreens or CVS, that sort of place, where you're quickly running around all the time. It's very fast-paced, you're treating a lot of patients, trying to help them get their medications and counter any issues they might be having. Instead of that, it's just helping out patients comprehensively and going through all their issues and seeing what might be bothering them. And it is actually, let me replace that, it's actually super cool. I enjoy it a lot, actually. I enjoyed it more than from what I've seen of community pharmacy. So even beyond just treating those patients as well, they work on answering any questions. So there was a real sort of environment of mutual respect and trust at the site I was at, which was really nice to see. So man, none of my things actually require good value dice. I was just noticing. Let me put a sonic wave in. I forget what this one does. Oh, we can see enemy. Okay, that's cool. Let's do that. There we go. But there was a real sense of respect. Like, all the practitioners there, like all the physicians and stuff, really respected and the pharmacist who I was working with, and would ask them questions anytime they needed help with something. If they needed help with understanding a drug or what might be going on with it, they'll ask. If they need help with pricing info and how to best reduce it for the patient, because they do a lot to help bring down the price for patients to make medications more affordable, they ask as well. They often compliment the pharmacist for how much help they're giving and all that sort of stuff. It's super cool, and I love that, like, respectful environment they had there. Let's do an infliction. Why not? Let's bring in another sonic wave, because that's always a nice thing to have around. And then they would also answer any drug info questions they'd get via phone call or via email. It was at a Ballad Health site, and if you don't know Ballad Health, that's like a big organization overseeing a lot of hospitals and medical facilities. So it was at one of those sites. They had Epic as their software that they use to manage patients, which is a patient info software in a way. Once again, I'm trying to make this as simple as I can, and also I don't fully understand it since I've never worked in a pharmacy or had any pharmacy experience before this. But it's basically a way you can access patient records, see what drugs they're on, see what disease states they have or their history, look at their demographic info, see sort of their history of appointments and see where they're at their current appointment, like if they're waiting right now or if they're checked in or if we're still waiting for them to arrive, that sort of thing. Live updates and all that stuff. I'm always getting 654. When I get more dice, it just goes 654, 3, 2, 1. I think that's how it's gonna go. It's interesting. This is an interesting setup. I don't know if my build is the best for it, but you know what? It's fine. We'll try it out. Okay. There we go. Just inflict. Oop. I'm trying to think. What was I saying again? Yeah. Overall, though, like, being that... Oh, I was talking about Epic. Yeah, it's just a software, and I got to learn a little bit about it because I'm interested in informatics. That's what I'm wanting to go into, which is a mix of technology with pharmacy to manage patients using innovative and modern sort of methods. So things like telehealth and telepharmacy, things like improved patient health records, and improved databases and information transfer between pharmacies, integrated health practices, that sort of thing. A lot of that stuff is informatics. So, let's crystal ball it. Why not? Boop. Do I really need a 4? No, I probably should have used that 3. Actually, let's get a nudge in here and bring this 4 down. And then bring in a sonic wave and do this. There we go, that works well. And then we can bring in another infliction or another bump. Do we want to bump blade? We can bump blade and then do an infliction. That'll give me slightly more damage. I could have... Actually, no, that does give me slightly more damage, so that's good. Yeah. So it was nice to learn about the system a little bit and sort of see how that goes. There's a whole lot to it, and my pharmacist who I was working under actually really hates Epic because the pharmacy that I was or not the pharmacy, the clinic I was working at for the rotation is a outpatient. So it's like not in a hospital is what outpatient means. Clinic. And the Epic, the computer system there, is, in my pharmacist's words, built for inpatient. I'll keep weakening you because you're annoying me, filthy guy. It's actually hitting me pretty hard. Fortunately, I think I'll heal after this, so it'll be fine, but... Oh, he's gonna do more damage and weaken me more! But there's a lot of problems in the system, like things that aren't intuitive and things that they add on, even though they really don't need to add it on within that system. That just makes it really confusing for outpatient pharmacists to figure out the info that they need. Like, we can do it, but it takes a lot more effort to do, and it just makes it really difficult for us. And also, the Epic system locks out a lot of features if you're not actively treating a patient in a hospital, which makes it really frustrating because a lot of those features are actually really useful for us to use. So we don't really know why they lock us out of accessing them if we're not in a hospital. It's really frustrating for outpatient, but it works okay. Like, we get the records and we get that info. I think I need another prepared spell slot, to be honest. And not with nudge in it. I like sonic wave, so let's add a sonic wave in there. Because I don't have much that actually deals damage, to be honest. Maybe this will be something? No, it's not. Well, you know, might as well learn it. What's in here? What's in here? Magic dagger? Okay, that's alright. Magic missile. I like magic missile, but it's expensive. Real expensive. I might not worry about getting it right now. I think let's just go with what we've got and fight Sneezy. So being that I had no pharmacy experience, I was actually quite nervous going into the rotation on the first day. Let's get ourselves a new dice. Well, can't really do that, so I might as well bump blade it. Throw in another bump blade, why not? Get ourselves set up a little bit for the future. That's gonna hurt. Yeah, I feel like I'm gonna take a lot of damage in this fight. But my preceptor, the person I was working under, is really nice, actually. Really, really nice. And they really helped me out, and they understood that was my first real experience. And so they were very nice to me and sort of helped us out, or helped me out to learn the best without stressing me out too much or putting me in unfair situations. And because of that, I was able to experience a lot there and really enjoy the rotation. So on the first day, it was sort of laid back and more sort of a job shadowing situation, where I got to see. Ooh, I can weaken them again actually, but this will deal 3 damage, and I kind of want to get that 3 damage. So there's really no point in weakening unless I weaken them a lot though, because yeah, I might as well. Let's get another dice. Because they get a lot of things they can use their powers on. Yes. Well, oh, okay, stopping sneeze was really helpful. I'm glad I got that. Yeah, but the first day it was just shadowing, seeing how they treated patients. We got a drug information question, which is basically an in-depth question about some sort of medication, some sort of problem with it, or info that they need. And we're supposed to use many reputable sources to figure out more, to answer that question in detail, and basically gather all the info we need to answer that. So that was pretty interesting, actually. I enjoy doing drug information stuff. I find it to be fun, but I like researching stuff on the computer, so I'm one of those weird guys who likes that stuff. I don't know if I'll be able to deal enough damage. Oh no, I will be. I will be. Let's do this. Then I do this. Then I do this. And throw. There you go. Worked out. So that was something that we worked on throughout the week. That's part of something called our workbook. So during rotations, we have what's called a workbook, and it's basically like our homework for the rotation. So it's something we're supposed to work. I don't really want to buy anything in the shop. It's something we're supposed to work on throughout the week, and we can do it at home. Oh, a mimic. Okay, we can do it at home as well. Like after we're done with rotations each day. For me, rotations were from like 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. each day, so about a full work day. And then we could work on it at home or work whenever we have free time at the rotation, which was quite often actually. Clinics are more laid back than pharmacies from what I've seen. Like a lot of the time, at least while we were there, you're on a computer looking at patient info, figuring out problems, that sort of stuff, rather than like constantly running around like you might be in a pharmacy. Though our preceptor did tell us that there are days whenever they're going, like we're seeing many patients for hours throughout the day and it's really busy. It was just that this week was not that busy for them, and they were able to help us out and help teach us a lot. So that was very fortunate that it was like that. But I worked on that drug info question throughout the week, and then also part of our workbook is doing a drug-related problem, which is from one of our patient encounters. Writing about one problem we found, such as a medication they shouldn't be on or something they need adjusted, and then writing about what we did for that problem to solve it. And then we also had to do an interview of our preceptor, which we did at the end of the week, about how they got to their position, why they enjoy it, that sort of thing, and what we saw them doing throughout the week and what their job is like. And then the other thing we had to do was write about 2 patient encounters we had. So let me throw that in there. Do this. I can't actually bump blade right now. Probably should have done that. Actually, did I have anything I could have bump blade? I don't think I could have. I think it was just infliction. So we did encounter some patients. I was there actually with another one of my classmates at the rotation. So there were 2 of us from my class, which was nice. It was actually, I liked that more than being there by myself because it gave me someone I could talk to, and we could talk about anything we had questions about together, work together on some things as well. It was pretty nice to be able to do that together. Okay, let's actually do that in Crystal Ball. Yeah, why not? And then we can Sonic Wave again. Get weaken, double weak. Let's get another Infliction. Why not? Why not? Actually, can I put... Okay, I can't actually... Let's just replace a Sonic Wave for now. Oop. Oop. There we go. But we worked together on certain things, and we did patient encounters while there, which were basically counseling patients and asking them questions and things like that. We had 2 types of encounters while there, though. One was a comprehensive encounter, which is going over basically anything we saw as an issue. And we had plenty of time to look over charts, patient info, that sort of thing. Our preceptor, who we were working under, printed out so many pages of information about the patients that we were going to counsel on, and all of their health history, all of the medication history, all sorts of stuff. And our goal was to look over all of that and figure out if there's anything that needs correcting, anything that needs fixing, any problems. We spent a lot of time doing that, both there and at home. And I like that a lot because, in my opinion, spending that amount of time looking at it in that in-depth of a manner is better for patient care than... I don't care about this. Is better for patient care than just going as quick as you can and treating patients very quickly, just whatever issues you see right away and nothing else. I like going much more in depth for it, so that was really interesting. But after going through all of that, we counseled the patient, asked them all the questions that we came up with as potential issues and make any corrections that might be needed, all while being really nice to the patient and being patient-centered and friendly to them and that sort of thing, explaining it in a way they understand. And we've learned a lot about this throughout our time at school, so my goal is to, more than anything, my goal is to be as friendly to the patient as possible and be as understanding to their mindsets, because I'm not going to remember everything I've learned throughout school. That's impossible. But at the very least, I can do my best to understand their perspectives, and anything I don't remember in terms of knowledge and actual like clinical data or clinical info, I can always tell them, I'll look it up and I can call you later, that sort of thing, and they're pretty understanding about that as well. So that's just my perspective on it. And then we also had our second type of encounter, which was INR visits. And for those who don't know, INR is a measure of how quick your blood clots, and that is checked whenever you're on anticoagulants, so blood thinners basically, like warfarin. Very common is warfarin. In fact, this is for warfarin. Another word that they called it was warfarin checks, but INR checks is the real, or INR visits is the real term. And what we basically did there was counsel the patient on anything that might be going on with their warfarin, like asking them if they were having any bleeding, because if you have a blood thinner, it increases your risk of bleeding. Ow, Jesus. Frickin' poison. Oh, there we go. Let's do that. Let's add some shield. Why not? Infliction. I don't have the best build, I feel. I really should bump blade a bit more, probably. Do a little bit more damage with that. Yep. And ask them about bleeding, including some like signs that they might not think of with bleeding. Like bleeding in the gums whenever they're brushing teeth, or bruising more easily, that sort of thing. Asking if they've had any changes in their diet, or leafy green vegetables, because vegetables that are like leafy greens, like kale, spinach, romaine, lettuce, that sort of thing, those can actually, mustard greens as well, those can actually, they have vitamin K in it, and vitamin K sort of counteracts warfarin. So if you're taking a lot of those vegetables, it'll bring down your INR, because warfarin brings up your INR because it's a measure of how quickly your blood clots. And since warfarin's a blood thinner, I'm getting real technical right now, okay? Hopefully you like knowledge. Since it's a blood thinner, it makes your blood take longer to clot, so it increases your INR. INR is kind of like the time to clot, so it makes sense that a higher value would mean your blood's more thin. So if you have vitamin K in these vegetables, that would bring down your INR, which makes your blood clot faster. That's sort of how it counteracts the warfarin. So you always have to ask the patients about if they're taking in any of that stuff, because if they are, you gotta be careful about it, because their INR might not be in the target for them, because these patients are on warfarin for a reason. A lot of them have, I could just throw my 4 dice at them, let's just do that. A lot of them have had problems in their past that they need to be at a certain level of INR to make sure that they stay healthy and don't have any serious problems. So if it's too low, that means their blood's clotting too quickly. They could have clots forming in their blood vessels, could cause a stroke, could cause a heart attack. You gotta be careful. Could cause a pulmonary embolism, or like build up in the lungs, not enough blood getting to the lungs basically, which is a big problem. That sort of thing. And then if it's too high, then the blood's too thin, it could cause bleeding, could cause also a different type of stroke, could cause cerebral hemorrhage, or just hemorrhaging in general. Not ideal. So you really got to be careful about their INRs. And then if it's out of range, usually the range is like 2 to 3 is the goal, and if it's too high or too low below that for a while, we'll adjust the dose. So that's sort of what we're looking for. So we'll ask them how they're taking the warfarin as well, to be sure there's no issues going on with it, and being sure they're taking it correctly. And if we need, based on what we've talked to them about, if we need to adjust it, we'll do that. So that those are actually pretty simple visits because it's fully based on just that one thing. And we'll check their INR that day too by pricking them, taking their blood, checking it in a monitor, that sort of thing. So those are pretty simple. The comprehensive visits are a lot more in-depth and more difficult to do, but also really interesting. It's like solving a really complex puzzle and looking for any pieces that might be missing. That's what it's like, looking for issues in the patient. So let's see. Doppeldice or duplicate? Doppeldice or duplicate? I kind of like duplicate myself. It's a min 4, so I can replace... I haven't really been using Magic Shield too much. Let's learn duplicate for it. What's in it? Catastrophe. Do I want Catastrophe? Is there anything I want to replace Bump Blade with, actually? I haven't really been using Bump Blade too much. I might replace it. Do I want to replace it, though? I kind of like being able to just bring it up and immediately use a Sonic Wave at a max value for it. But is it worth it? I don't know if Catastrophe is that worth it. I'm gonna ignore it for now. It's just too random. Like, it adds one of each thing, but I don't know if that's actually that helpful. Actually, Rat might be a better version. Yeah, let's actually grab Rat. I like that more than Bump Blade, actually. There we go. I would like to get a Hall of Mirrors in there sometime, but... Actually, Hall of Mirrors might be... No, I'm gonna leave Rat in for that dice manipulation. Poor bully. But we had several of those encounters throughout Tuesday and Wednesday, and that was sort of the main focus of those days, along with working on our workbook. And then on Thursday, it was an online day for us, which was basically a day. Let's actually do this, because we can do an extra poison here. Get another dice. Do boop. That's pretty good. 2 poison and then good amount of damage, and then weaken them as well. Yeah, he's not using that rock, is he? Ow. But also, the main thing on Thursday was we had a online call we were to join. That was basically all about... Actually, let's spawn another Sonic Wave and just hit them with these. It won't deal too much damage, but we'll at least weaken them twice. And we have the poison as well to do a little bit. Actually, it's not too big a deal to weaken them, is it? Because they just have other things they can use. That's fine. But we had a call that we were supposed to join online that was about diabetes and all the medications used for diabetes and all that info. Okay, I probably could have planned that a little bit better. I can't really use these ones for much or the 2 for much. Let's just do this. And that was interesting. We haven't actually had a diabetes course yet. He's doing a lot of damage. So this was our first introduction to that material, and it was good. It was really good, actually. It covered a lot. We got him, ladies and gentlemen. We got him. Get poisoned. I don't remember everything that we covered in that, but it was actually like I'm sure I'll remember some of it whenever we get to next year, and actually have that course and get to see it. Within the actual curriculum. Okay, so now I have to sort of think of if I want to actually take anything here. I don't really care about Skeleton Key. Don't really care about Catastrophe. Do I want Fury Spell? Not particularly. I'll buy some health. Why not? And I'm gonna end off this episode of Dicey Dungeons here. That was basically my rotations. All Friday was talking to our preceptor and interviewing them and doing one last patient encounter. But overall, I actually really enjoyed the experience. I asked my preceptor a lot of questions. They gave us any questions or anything they wanted us to research throughout the rotation as well. And so we got to learn a lot and learn some new info and see sort of what AmCare is about. And I just wanted to share that with you all in case you were curious about what it even is. Hopefully your eyes didn't glaze over from this video in boredom, because from what I've heard from our preceptor, every time they try to explain it to someone, their eyes just glaze over. It's hard to understand this this position, but I had a lot of fun and did better than I expected to on this rotation. So, hope you found it interesting. If you enjoyed this video, I'd appreciate a like, comment, or a subscription. It really does help. That's all for now, and I hope to see you on the next adventure.